Today, January 28th, Governor Mike Kehoe of Missouri gave his State of the State address, which is his interpretation of what's going on in the state of Missouri and what he would like to do about it. There's not really a lot of today's address that was all that surprising. We definitely saw that Governor Mike Kehoe's legislative priorities aren't necessarily 100% in line with those of the legislators, given what the legislators are pushing through to committee and the bills that have traction right now in the respective chambers of Congress. However, I do think that we saw education come out kind of as a forerunner in the conversation. The governor is very focused on how we reevaluate funding, and one big concern of mine is that he is definitely talking a lot about diverting funding from public schools towards private schools and reevaluating how we treat that system. Other than that, we didn't see him talk that much about any LGBT issues. He touched base on abortion, but honestly, he ran that very middle line. He talked about funding additional resources outside of abortion to try to limit the need for abortion services. Um, it's honestly one of the more moderate conversations we've seen from a GOP leader in the last couple months regarding this issue, especially in Missouri. So that was kind of refreshing in a way, but I am still concerned about a lot of the legislation that we are seeing in Congress that kind of, again, doesn't line up with what we heard from the governor today. Other than that, I just want to remind you that the legislative process is long, and sometimes when we're talking about a really concerning bill, you might feel like we need to do more than just write our legislators, and I completely understand that. But there is a reason I ask you to write legislators first before we start having conversations about larger movements or more vocal conversations. And that's because we have to attempt at least to make our voices heard as a step one. Because there's no tangible conversation about the fact that they're not listening to us if we never spoke up to begin with. And the biggest problem in Missouri is for too long, people have not participated in the legislative process, especially progressive thinkers, because they think that it's a lost cause. And it just genuinely isn't. If we show up and we are loud, it does have an impact.